Hello students, welcome to the class. We have started Geography chapter 5, Industries. In this chapter you are learning all about industries, establishment of industries and how industries are developed in our country. Till this class we have completed following topics. First we started this chapter with the journey of paper. Then you learn about activities, human activities divided into categories. Then you learn about primary, tertiary and secondary activities, and industry is as a secondary activity. You also learn meaning and classification of industries. All these various types of industries also you learn. You learn the most important part of the location of industries, which are the factors affecting location of industries, industrial system, industrial region. These were the topic we have already completed till the lesson. Today we are starting here from page number 51 in your textbook. Topic is industrial disaster. Industrial disaster or industrial accident. In industries, accident disasters mainly occur due to technical failure or irresponsible handling of hazardous material. You all know that in industries very big machineries are used, electricity is used at a very high level, technologies are used, and even with all these they are using different kinds of chemicals. So if all these chemicals or technology is not handled properly, then there are chances of any kind of accident. So what is the meaning of industrial disaster? It is called industrial accident also. It's occur mainly due to technical failure or irresponsible handling of hazardous material. Here they have given one such example happened in India, occurred at Bhopal. So let us understand how was this deadly dangerous accident occurred. One of the worst industrial disasters of all time occurred in Bhopal on 3rd December 1984. Students, keep in mind the same incident you will learn in civics also. So please pay attention, so it will be easy for you to understand that civics incident also, because same they have given in chapter 9. It was a technological accident in which highly poisonous methyl isocyanate gas along with hydrogen cyanide and other reaction product leak out of the pesticide factory of Union Carbide. So this is the case of irresponsible handling of hazardous material. The official date toll was 3,598, right? But it assumed that at that time around 10,000 people were affected due to this accident. Thousands who survived still suffer from one or many ailments like blindness, impaired immune system, gastrointestinal disorder. So there are various side effects also of this leakage, right? So this was one example. Another example also given here of China. In another incident on 23rd December 2005 due to gas well blowout in Kaohsiung, Chongqing, China. 243 people died, 9,000 were injured and 64,000 were evacuated. Many people died because they were unable to run after the explosion. Those who could not escape in time suffered burns to their eyes, skin and lungs from the gas. So this was also a case of irresponsible handling of hazardous material or chemicals. So that previous one, Bhopal case, it was considered as one of the deadliest accidents happen in history of Indian industries. And in civics also they have described, because at that time this unit what they established at Bhopal, it was given permission after all these things, that there was a chances of this type of leakages and people would not be able to, and it, all of a sudden at night it started leaking and this accident occurred. So people could not run from that place and they suffered a lot. So these two examples, you can remember any one of these, and hopefully you will learn this Bhopal case because it will helpful to you in understanding that civics chapter also. Now see, risks are there, so it doesn't mean that people will not establish industries, they will not do production. But there are some risk reduction measures when any entrepreneur, any industrialist, if they are establishing this type of industries, then they have to keep in mind. First point is, densely populated residential areas should be separated far away from the industrial areas. That's why governments are locating this type of industries outskirts areas of the towns or city. People staying in the vicinity of industry should be aware of the storage of toxins or hazardous substances and their possible effects in case if an accident occurs. Those who are living, because somehow some people have to live around this type of industries, so they should be educated properly about this type of gases storage there and how they can possibly get less effect from this type of accident. Fire warning and fighting system should be improved. Storage capacity of toxic substances should be limited, because this type of accidents occur when they over that storage capacity. Pollution dispersion qualities in the industrial should be improved. So these are some steps which should be taken while this type of industries, chemical industries, are established in any of the area. Distribution of major industries. Here, if we see, there are various number of industries, number of types of industries are there. But if we divide all these industries in some particular categories, then we can say that there are major three types of industries are there. The world's major industries are the iron and steel industries, the textile industries, and the information and technology industries. The iron and steel and textile industries are the older industries, while information technology, we can shorten, we can say IT industries and emerging industries. Right? Why it is called older industries? Because from around 200-300 years, when in 18th century industrialization established in England, from that time iron and steel industries are working. Even cotton textile industries also established after industrialization, and they started inventing various machinery, and then it established around 200-300 years ago they established. But IT industries is a 20th century's industries. Emerging industries means sunrise industries. Keep in mind, emerging industries are also known as sunrise industries. You can read here. These include IT industries, information technology, wellness, hospitality and knowledge. So any services related to this type of field like IT, wellness, hospitalities and knowledge comes in the emerging industries, because they have recently found in 20th century they found, and they are still growing, right? Still they have not reached to its zenith, but still they are growing. The countries in which iron and steel industries is located are Germany, USA, China, Japan and Russia. Textile industries is concentrated in India, Hong Kong, South Korea, Japan and Taiwan. The major hubs of information technology industries are Silicon Valley of Central California and Bangalore region of India. So overall, if we see that there are three major industries, iron and steel industries, there are some places, but in India also, no doubt it is not given, because world level these are countries, but in India also we are having many big plants of iron and steel industries. Cotton textile industries, because of factors available here. What factors you will already learn in previous class. All these factors are available in India. So major cotton textile industries are established in India. And fortunately, Bangalore, we are having IT industries also. It's considered as a hub of IT industries. And the first hub is Silicon Valley at California. So now we will understand one by one all these three major industries. No doubt in your new book they have not given detailed information about IT industries, but for your understanding I will explain you in short. So let us start with iron and steel industries. As I was telling you in live class also, and you learn in history chapter 6 also, that iron and steel industries is established in India at the time of British, when Britishers were ruling, and you remember that story was given how they found the iron ore and that Jamshedji Tata's son or eldest son, and they were looking for a establishment of iron and steel industries, and how they got it and they established at Jamshedpur. That story you will see here also in short. In what are the factors which affect the location of iron and steel industries at worldwide and India? Like other industries, iron and steel industries too comprises various inputs, processes and outputs. Like in industrial system, you learn that for each and every industries, it is necessary to have some inputs, process and output. Same for iron and steel industries also. This is a feeder industries. Underline this is very important term. I have already explained you in previous class what is the meaning of feeder industries. I am repeating again. Feeder industries means output of iron and steel industries can be raw material for other industries. It can be input for other industries. Here it is given, this is feeder industries whose products are used as a raw material for other industries. The inputs for industries include raw materials such as iron ore, coal and limestone, along with labor, capital, site and other infrastructure. So suppose basically if we are thinking about iron and steel industries, what are the inputs? Iron ore, coal, limestone, labor, capital and other infrastructure. The process of converting iron ore into steel involves many stages, right? You remember that in iron smelting in history you learn that they were having how they were making wood steel. In furnace they were putting that iron ore and with the increased temperature they were heating that iron and they were getting this iron. So same process is here but in machineries. The raw iron material is put in the blast furnace where it undergoes melting. It is then refined. The output obtained is steel which may be used by other industries as a raw material. So please keep in mind this is really very new process for you all because as a student you are learning. So from the iron ore from mines they are getting raw iron. This raw iron they will put in a blast furnace. Right? It is not just only brick made furnace but there are large huge furnaces are there in iron and steel industries. It goes undergoes melting with that integrated temperature and then it refined and then the output obtained that is called steel. Now we all know that steel is most important substance. Each and every product directly or indirectly made up of steel. Why? So now some characteristics of steel are given here. So please pay attention. Steel is tough and it can easily be shaped, cut or made into wire. Special alloy of steel can be made by adding small amount of other metals such as aluminum, nickel and copper. We all know that stainless steel, our plates, glass, bowl made up of steel. So that is called stainless steel made up of steel and nickel. Alloy gives steel unusual hardness, toughness or ability to resist rust. Right? So these are the some characteristics of steel. You can underline this. Steel is tough. It can be easily shaped in different various as per requirement. It can be easily cut and made into wire also. And because of its hardness, toughness or ability to resist rust, it is used for the various purposes. Steel is often called the backbone of modern industries. Almost everything we use is either made up of iron or steel or is made with tools and machinery. As I told you that we cannot imagine any product without steel. Either they are directly made up of iron or steel or indirectly the things which you are making. Suppose if you will tell me that suppose eraser or any other plastic item, but for tool from which these type of products are made, they are made up of iron or steel. So indirectly or directly, we cannot imagine our life without steel. Almost everything we use in either made up of iron or steel or has made with tools and machinery of these metals. Ships, trains, trucks and autos are made largely of steel. Even the safety pins and the needles you use are made from steel. Oil wells are drilled with the steel machineries. Steel pipelines transport oil. Minerals are mined with the steel equipments. Farm machines are mostly steel. Large buildings have steel framework. So these are the importance of steel. In our life, we cannot imagine our life without steel or iron. Right? Steel is a refined form of iron. So directly or indirectly, we depend on steel. So these are the importance of steel, or we can say iron and steel industries also. Before 1800 AD, iron and steel industries was located where raw material, power supply and running water were easily available. Right, when there was a starting initiative of the iron and steel industries, so entrepreneurs were thinking where they are getting all these things, even transportation, capital, where they can get all these things which are the necessity for establishment of industries. Industries they were establishing there. Later, the ideal location for the industries was near coal field and close to canals and railways because they can easily transport through canals or railways, and raw material can easily get from coal fields. After 1950, iron and steel industries began to be located on large area or flat land near seaports. This is because by this time, steel works had become very large and iron ore had to be imported from overseas. Because iron and steel industries develop at a large scale, and for they need lots of raw material, so they can easily transport through seaport. So after 1950, they started establishing near the seaport because other thing they can manage, labor they can bring, capital they can bring, but most important thing is raw material. Without raw material they cannot run industries, so they establish near ports so they can easily transport it. In India, iron and steel industries is developed taking advantages of raw materials, cheap labor, transport and market. See again these factors which are necessary for localization of industries are there. All the important steel producing centers such as Bhilai, Durgapur, Burnpur, Jamshedpur, Rourkela, Bokaro are situated in a region that spreads over 4 states. So these 4 states, please keep in mind, you will learn in your atlas also, where iron and steel industries centralized in India: West Bengal, Jharkhand, Odisha and Chhattisgarh. Bhadravati and Vijayanagar in Karnataka, Vishakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, Salem in Tamil Nadu are other important steel centers utilizing local source. So these 4 states are major states which producing. You remember in mineral chapter also you learn, because raw material is easily available in this state. So obviously manufacturers they will establish near the raw material available. So West Bengal, Jharkhand, Odisha and Chhattisgarh are main centers where iron and steel industries concentrate. Jamshedpur. Now you recall your history chapter 6. Before 1947, there was only one iron and steel plant in the country, that was Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited. In short, it was called TISCO. It was privately owned by Tata Group. After independence, the government took the initiative and set up several iron and steel plants. Means before independence, there was only one iron and steel industries was working, functioning in India, that was TISCO. But after independence, when government has started taking initiative through 5-year plan, then government also set up several iron and steel plants. TISCO was started in 1907 at Sakshi, near the confluence of the rivers Subarnarekha and Kharka in Jharkhand. So in short, TISCO was started. TISCO first established its plant at Sakshi in 1907 at Jharkhand. Later on, Sakshi was renamed at Jamshedpur. Geographically, Jamshedpur is the most conveniently situated iron and steel center in the country. That's why Sakshi was renamed on the name of Jamshedji Tata. Now in this paragraph, they are focusing that why they established TISCO at Sakshi. Sakshi was chosen to set up the steel plant for several reasons. Now you can understand, because you have already factors affecting the localization of industries. So now you understand that most probably raw material, labor, water. Right? For iron and steel industries, these things are most important, and obviously capital. This place was only 32 kilometers away from the Kalimati station on the Bangalore-Nagpur railway line. So first point, transportation was easily available. It was close to the iron ore, coal and manganese deposits as well as Kolkata, which provide a large market. So because of raw material and market availability. Tisco gets coal from Zaria, coalfields, and iron ore, limestone, dolomite, manganese from Odisha and Chhattisgarh. The Karkai and Subarnarekha rivers ensured sufficient water supply. You all know that in iron and steel plant they need lots of water for cleaning and all, refining and all. So because of these two rivers, water availability was also there. Government initiatives provide adequate capital for its later development. No doubt, Jamshedji Tata were very well fortunate and he invested lots of money in iron and steel industries. But after independence, government also took initiative to provide more funds to the Tata iron and steel industries. In Jamshedpur, several other industries plants were set up after Tisco. They produce chemicals, locomotive parts, agriculture equipment, machinery, tin plates, cable and wire. So these all are beneficial industries. They are taking outputs of the iron and steel industries and they are using for their manufacturing. The development of iron and steel industries opened the doors to the rapid industrial development in India. Because if one industry is developed, then it will give chances to other industries also. So in this way, rapid industrialization possible in India. Almost all sectors of the Indian industries depends heavily on the iron and steel industries for their basic infrastructure. As I earlier told that iron and steel is basic for all the industries. So whatever the production was output from iron and steel industries, it was used for the as a input for the other industries and it gave rapid acceleration to industrialization in India. The Indian iron and steel industries consist of large integrated steel plant as well as mini steel mills. Right? It is not only that iron and steel industries are only on large scale. Right? Some entrepreneurs, individuals, they have started small steel mill also. It also includes secondary producers, rolling mills and ancillary industries. Ancillary means subsidiary, means those who are using the product and they are subordinate to the iron and steel industries. So in this way, iron and steel industries developed, flourished in India and it gave birth to the lots of other industries also. It gave acceleration to industrialization in India. We cannot deny the importance of iron and steel industries and especially TISCO, Tata Iron and Steel Industries. From 1907 it has started and still it is working, flourishing very nicely at today also. Student, please note here that in iron and steel industries we have deleted Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is another iron and steel industries of United States of America, but we have deleted this topic from your text book from your syllabus. So we are not doing this part. You can cut here. Next industries, second major industry is cotton and textile industries, and that we will do in next lesson because for today's we have done lots of iron and steel industries. Please focus on keep watching videos so you will understand it nicely. You have to understand factors affecting the localization of iron and steel industries. You also learn that how Tata Iron and Steel Industries is established. You can take support of history chapter 6 where you already learn, so you can take that part also. You will also learn that how Tata Iron and Steel Industries and other iron and steel industries gave acceleration to industrialization. Cotton textile industries and textile question answers we will do in next class. Till the time, students, keep learning. Have a fantastic day.